Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back, everybody. I've said it before. If you want to move your life forward, let's say you're stuck or you're not attaining goals, whether they're personal or professional, you need someone to walk that journey with you, i.e. a coach, somebody that will provide accountability, insight, even work with your mental fitness and so much more. Really cool thing we're going to do today is look at coaching and somebody who received coaching with one of the best, I feel, and what that journey was like. Carey joins us on the program. She is the coach. Welcome back. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Steve. Very good.
And
Well,
we have a guest. Please tell us who it is.
okay, it's my pleasure to introduce Maddie Lay. Maddie is currently employed at Adventure Risk Challenge, ARC for short, which is a private nonprofit organization. ARC has been in existence since 2004, and they provide leadership, literacy, and wilderness experiences for high school youth. Maddie is the Tahoe manager and has worked there for 2.5 years.
Interesting. Maddie, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Lots to learn here today. And I want to preface this by saying that Karen does coaching of all different aspects, but one very specific niche is with nonprofits or people that work in the nonprofit area, which that involves you, Maddie. What made you want to do some coaching with Karen?
So my previous supervisor had done coaching with Karen and shared some of her experiences with me. And it seemed like she was really able to grow through her work with Karen, and that was of interest. I think growth is one of the strongest values that I have in my life, growing as a person, professionally and in my personal life. I've done reflective journaling on my own for many years and have worked through therapy. But when this opportunity came up to do some professional coaching and to help me grow in my career, I was really excited, especially because of Karen's experience with nonprofits as an executive director, which is a career path that I've considered for myself.
I'm glad you mentioned therapy and coaching. They are radically different. There's a place for both of them. How long have you been working with Karen?
We've been working since the fall of 2023, so about 1.5 years.
And what's it like to work with her? What did you feel? What did you see as some of the strengths that looked attractive to make you want to connect with her?
Yeah, Karen is a compassionate and courageous leader. Each month when we work together, I bring something to our meetings that I want to get work support on, and support in processing. And she asks me lots of thought-provoking questions while affirming the challenges that I'm facing, and jumps in to ask those questions first before providing any of her own advice. And that allows me to process, to answer, to solve my own challenges that I'm facing. And I think through this structure, Karen has helped to foster the foundation from which my confidence especially has grown. She also gives me something to work on every month between our coaching sessions. And some of these activities have been really beneficial in learning more about myself and developing my leadership skills.
Did you ever think in your adult life you'd be doing homework?
It's part of the process, part of the learning.
Yeah, I truly love that you shared that you journal, because it just aside from the fact that you realize certain things, you see it's a timeline. Every page is a timeline, or part of the timeline. What would you say in terms of coaching that has improved your leadership skills?
So one of the first activities I did in preparation for our coaching sessions was to reflect on my core values. And this helped to lay the groundwork for me in thinking about my leadership, because my values, of course, are going to guide how I lead. And I would say coaching has helped me to build my confidence in myself, especially in my ability to have hard conversations with supervisors and supervisees and peers and other people that I'm working with. And it's also helped me to center and reflect on my goals, and has given me the tools to work through them and on them and continue to grow.
So yeah, let's talk about one of those tools, positive intelligence, mental fitness program. Karen and I have talked about that in the past. Call it PQ, positive intelligence. How was that? How would you describe it, first of all? And then how would you say that you integrated it in your life?
Mm-hmm. So every week I watch a module video that's about an hour long, and Karen and I will discuss questions that have come up for me as I'm watching that. And we'll talk about the themes in the video. And then through an app, I get notifications every day, and there's a theme for the week, and then there are different reflections that I'm having 3 times a day at least, that have to do with that app that are related to the theme of the week. And so in our conversations, she prompts me to talk about a blameless discernment about how it went, listening to those 3 things a day, if I was able to integrate them into my life or not, and what I want to focus on and grow as I continue in the program. And yeah, the app and the prompts on them have some little, we call them PQ reps, positive intelligent reps, that help me to center myself and ground myself when I'm feeling stress or anxiety, or when other things, negative emotions or thoughts are coming up for me.
So it's been about a year and a half that you've been working with Karen. Do you recall any aha moments along the way where you said, well, I didn't realize that in general, or maybe you didn't realize something maybe within yourself?
Hmm. I think there have been several aha moments, I would say, throughout our time working together. Um, I think just a big one that I've mentioned a couple of times already is just the confidence piece. I
Hmm.
think when I started working with Karen, I think I believed in myself in some ways and not in others. And through several of our conversations, she's continued to support me in advocating for my needs and what I want. And I've been able to make some really big decisions at work, that have helped to put myself first, which then can help me support my staff and support my students. And so I think getting to the point where I was able to do that, and to take care of myself and to advocate for my needs, and recognize how that will then trickle down to so many other parts of my work life. That has been just a big aha moment, I guess,
Hmm.
over a lot of time.
Now, you used the word grounding before, which is fantastic. I totally get it. Big proponent of that. I had a break today. I went outside, was sitting by a tree, meditated a little bit. Not even kidding. Um, were you doing things like that to ground and get better in touch with yourself before you met Karen?
I would say I was doing some, but I'm definitely doing more now, and it's and some of the things that I'm doing are very different from what I was doing before.
Hmm. It sounds like you realize the value of those things in working with Karen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, all right, yeah, and we can say the word grounding and it can mean something different to everybody. But when you work with somebody like a coach, you get that clarity. It's like, oh, that's why I'm doing that. I need to do more of that. I need to be more intentional in doing those things. All right, we're going to flip it around here. Just Maddie, I'm going to put you over to the side. Don't listen. We're going to talk about you. Uh, Karen, tell us about your journey working with Maddie. What you first saw when you first met with her, and then just tell us about her journey.
Sure. Well, when I first met her, I saw there was a lot of potential there. And one of the things that's really important in coaching is that the person who's going to be coached is excited about it and really wants to get involved and actively participate in the process. Because I've had clients that have not. They have one foot in and one foot out. Maddie has been all the way in,
Mm.
and she has just grown. I've seen a huge amount of growth from her, not only in her confidence, but in her ability to lead, her ability to make decisions and not have to ruminate about them for, 6 or 8 hours or all the night before, and make some good choices and good decisions. And I think that, and she talked about this, but putting herself first has really made a difference in her life. And you and I both talked about working for a nonprofit. People who work for nonprofits are passionate about the work they do,
Yep.
which is wonderful, but it tends to cause people to overlook their own needs and really give too much of themselves to their work to the point where they suffer. And I think Maddie was really close to that at times, and not willing to really speak up for herself like she needed to be able to do. And with that, she's grown tremendously. And now, she'll do PQ reps before a difficult conversation, and she's able to have that conversation and feel good about it afterwards. And almost always the conversation is successful in the end.
PQ reps. Throw it back to Maddie. Can you give us an example? Basic example of what a PQ rep is.
Yeah, one that I feel like I've been practicing a lot is when you take two fingertips, close your eyes, and you rub your fingers together, and you can feel all the little ridges on your fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
And it brings your awareness into that small thing, that part of your body, and takes your mind off of the stress for a minute, and can be really centering.
Wow. It's amazing how some of these things are so simple, but so impactful and important, where I get it. Just by going like this, the crazy world that's around you, decisions you have, stress and everything, you focus on fingertips. You focus on fingertips right at that moment, and everything else goes away. And then I would imagine when you're done, now you have clarity. It's almost like wiping the slate for the moment.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Wow.
One thing, Steve, if I could add about Maddie, is that she, her leadership skills have just really grown tremendously. And I just want to say to her that I believe that she's going to be an excellent executive director someday, if she chooses to. She definitely has the skill and the caring about doing that kind of work. And I think with coaching, she's better learned how to take care of herself, which in turn will help her sort of set that example for her staff, showing them and modeling not only, a lot of her same values like integrity, honesty, but empathy, self-care, not persuasion, but compassion. All those things that are really important for a leader to have.
The empathy thing is apparent. And so many of us that are empathetic, I believe I am. I've taken strength assessment tests, and it's number 2 for me. You forget about yourself. You forget about yourself because you're always worrying about other people. You want everybody to be happy, everything to work out. Would you say that described you, Maddie?
Yes.
Yeah. Like you take your position to heart. You really do. When you just forget about yourself, that the best part I feel about this whole coaching process is, yeah, we might be focused on the professional aspect, but it trickles down in your personal life, and the reverse of it. If you work on your personal life, it trickles over to the professional life. So it's kind of a dual role, dual purpose. What would you want people to know, Maddie, that maybe are considering doing coaching, maybe changing it up, need some accountability? What would you want them to know?
That taking the risk can be really beneficial, and there are so many rewards to it. I think especially for people who may feel like they're in the same boat as me of throwing everything into work and into the people that you're working for or working with, that there is so much value in spending some time to focus on your own needs.
Mm.
And I think also that it does require somewhat of a growth mindset to be able to go into that space. And I think what Karen said is really true. If you don't have interest in growing or learning more about yourself, then it might be a really challenging process. And I think some buy-in in that process is really important. And knowing that there might be uncomfortable moments or aha moments where you sit with something that you've learned or a question that's been asked and it feels really difficult to process or to realize something about yourself, but that if you're able to work through that, there is so much beauty that can come as a result.
Mm. Do you feel that there were moments where Karen was the mirror, the Maddie mirror, where she held it up to you? It's like, oh, I didn't realize that. All she's doing is showing you who you are. And I'm not saying in any way at all that this is negative. It's more of like, oh, that's who I am. Do I want to work with that, change that, whatever? Did you feel somewhat that what was going on during some of the coaching?
Absolutely. Yes.
Mm,
Lots of mirroring, which I think was a beautiful thing because sometimes I would say something and and then Karen would repeat it back to me. It's, asking, is this what you mean? Maybe ask a question and it had me reflect on a way that I hadn't before.
gotcha. Yeah. Friends and family aren't going to do that.
Mhm.
They're not.
True,
They're
true.
going to tell you what you want to hear. Um, would you say that you made an investment in yourself, Maddie, and it was worth it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm.
And
Karen, what
Steve,
would I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just going to add, today, since the pandemic, people, when they go to their jobs, they really want the leaders of that organization or business to care about them and be compassionate. And they want to grow. They want a leader who has a lot of different skills, but that caring piece is so important. And people are leaving. So people I find that I coach because they're really aware of what they want in an organization when they go to work. They're leaving jobs where leaders are not compassionate, not empathetic, don't care if they grow. All they care about is the bottom line. I know that Maddie, if she ever chooses to leave ARC, she'll be looking for another business or organization to go to where the leader has the same values that she has. And in those examples, she will be successful. And more people are successful when they have leaders like that.
Mm. Would you say, Maddie, that your goals for the future are much more clearer since you've been working with Karen?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say somewhat. I think I've had sometimes some of our conversations have opened up even more questions than
Mm.
have given me answers in a lot of ways, which I also think is a really beautiful thing. I think I have grown and developed and learned a lot more about myself through the process. And I think through that, um, I have recognized that there could be a lot of different ways that I could approach and achieve some of the goals that maybe I had set in the past for myself or had thought about for myself. For example, when I came to Karen, I had just finished grad school in nonprofit management, and I was thinking to myself, okay, the path is I want to become an executive director, and I still think that could be a possibility for me. But I think it's helped open some other ideas as to what I could do with my time, and knowing that some of my strengths and some of my values could align with a position like that, but could also lead me to do a number of different things, not just that one direct path. It also feels really exciting to know that there are other options out there, and other possibilities.
Would you feel that you have with the skills you've learned, like a new excitement for yourself? Just an appreciation, life in general. It's like you see things differently now.
Definitely. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's like when you look back at the last year and a half, where you were and where you are. I'm going to imagine you see a substantial difference. I don't want to use the word radical, but a substantial difference. Would you say that's true?
hmm Definitely.
Wow. Would you recommend Karen to somebody else looking for coaching?
Definitely. Yeah, she's given me some really useful tools, ideas, and advice, and has really helped me work through the challenges that I've faced. And yeah, I would say she's a great coach and guide and thought partner as I've navigated all the changes and challenges at work.
Love
I'm
it.
very grateful.
I, I don't know anybody else that does what she does in the nonprofit area. And I'm very aligned with that. I'm on the board of the Girl Scouts. I got a meeting next Wednesday. I'm hosting something for the Boy Scouts the following night. Like that's in my world, but I'm not in the, executive level, but I fly over the bleachers of nonprofits, so I understand the challenges, and a little bit of the mindset as well. Karen, if somebody wants to engage you for coaching, or even start a conversation, whether
Absolutely.
they're connected with a nonprofit or not, how do they find you?
The best way is to email me at kscarey, Carey, @charter.net. Send me an email, we'll set up a time and we'll chat and just see, if I can meet your needs or what you're thinking about.
Can you also share your website? I know there's a lot of info and resources there.
Yes, www.thrivecoachingandconsulting.com. And you have to spell it out.
Got it. Thrive is a great word. I got to say, looking at you, Maddie, and hearing your story, you're thriving. I'm feeling it. Would you say that's true?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wonderful talking with both of you.
I've loved working with Maddie. It's been great.
I detect that. I'm being very
Yeah.
honest. I feel the energy between both of you, like a very positive relationship, and a lot of discovery, maybe for both of you, along the way there. And appreciate both of you being here today. Really do.
Thanks so much for having us.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And Maddie, good luck to you. And Karen, we'll talk soon. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.